whoever is listening on this wild, wonderful world. I want to welcome you to the second week of the Let's Talk About the League podcast, GMA Gaming Community Cup Edition. We are so pleased to have you with us today. We have a pretty big show to go over. For some reason, I had it turned down and I'm still getting feedback. You would think I could get this right one time, folks. There we go. It was minute, but it mattered. Well, after an incredible week one, I know that I'm excited to hop into discussing week two, and I have with me the incredibly talented Akali One Trick, Great Beard of Odin. Odin, how you doing tonight, my friend?
I am a little tired still. It was late night with Bucks and Six last night, but otherwise doing pretty good.
It was a pretty big night for a lot of people on our Discord. I hope everybody partied hard and you really enjoyed yourself. I don't keep up with basketball a lot, but correct me if I'm wrong. Don't like all the good players from these like traditionally underperforming teams get like taken after they perform well. So then the next few years is rebuilding again.
I couldn't tell you. I jumped on the bandwagon.
Well, I'm going to do the same. Next year, you're going to see another World Championship Bucks lineup. And, folks, I'm going to tell you now about some potential championship lineups. But I want to tell you what's happening in the Week 2 standings. It's a pretty boring standings because everybody's either in first place or second place. In first place, we have Blitzkrieg, White Wolf, and Option 12. In second place, we have Northern Storm, 9 Lives, and Team Phoenix. There is a lot of change potentially coming. Odin, quiet you loud. Okay. There's a lot of change potentially coming in the upcoming week. We'll see exactly how things flow, and we have some good points to discuss with regard to these outcomes. So this upcoming week, we do have an exciting schedule. In set 1, Blitzkrieg and Northern Storm. In set 2, we have White Wolf Gaming and Option 12. Set 3, 9 Lives and Team Phoenix. So there was a change from the schedule posted at the start of the split. We try to be as accommodating to our players as possible. If you're interested in signing up in future splits, you can go down below and sign up in the doodly-doo. Look for our Discord link. We would absolutely love to have you. Now, one of the things we're doing in the split, as you can see right there on the screen, is Team Feed, Feeding America. We've joined with Team Feed to help end hunger in America. No one should go without a meal. Yet, Feeding America estimates 42 million people in America may face hunger this year due to the pandemic. I've worked with Feeding America to create this fundraiser to help provide these much-needed meals to our neighbors through Feeding America's Food Network banks. Network of food banks. And we're asking you to join in our cause. GMA Gaming is asking players to donate to Feeding America in lieu of any kind of player sign-up fee. Every $1 donated helps provide at least 10 meals in our communities, and we will be donating 10 meals every time there is a Penta or an Elder Drake. We had some Elders taken, but we had a Penta! We had 2 Pentas this week, Odin. Let's go ahead and play people one. This was the Penta from Riv, a.k.a. the Penta that wouldn't happen in solo queue.
Ravane actually does get the Baron, so it was available for potential Smite Seal, but now Ravane jumps in, all the resets, all the healing from the ultimate. CB Hickey is last on the menu, but will get devoured as if he was first. A quadra kill for Ravane. That's the kind of play that you were expecting, Peach, when we saw this champion pick.
Yeah.
And this will be game 1 for White Wolf.
Really cleanly played too. Which one really got that lead mid lane early, and I think she kind of like.
Oh, it's a pentakill technically.
God,
Oh
what?
my gosh, we got
You saw that pentakill get picked up. That is absolutely insane amount of time to pick up a pentakill. 1 to end the game, and 2 with like 20 seconds between the 4th and the 5th kill. Fun stuff. We'll talk about that game here in a little bit. Just in our qualifier matches, plus week 1, we have raised $435. That's 4,350 meals provided to communities in America. So thank you to our players, thank you to our viewers, and everybody that's donated. So, Odin, I want to hop in now, and I want to talk about the week 1 schedule. So, week 1, we had some very fun matchups. The first one was 9 Lives versus Blitzkrieg. Now, Blitzkrieg is the favored to be the championship team right now. 9 Lives expected to perform middle of the pack. I feel like they performed better than expected, and Blitzkrieg, even with the subs, showed that they still have that shine from the last split. What are your thoughts from that match?
Yeah, so I think the series finish went as well as I originally predicted it to be a 2-0, so I wasn't surprised to see it coming up. I think Game 1 was pretty clear-cut drive for Blitzkrieg, but Game 2 was that little more of that contested game that we saw, with strong performances coming out of the 9 Lives solo lanes. You know, it's a great game, but I think where 9 Lives fell in that game was they needed a better way to answer Nasus. They didn't have that traditional ADC, because with Nasus you don't want to be trying to fight him point blank. You need someone who can kite him out, and with that Ziggs bot lane, I think that's what really let their comp down. With traditional ADC, I think they may have had a better chance of finishing that game. Otherwise, I think they're always going to be bound to lose against the Nasus if you don't close out early. As soon as that game starts, you're kind of setting a clock, and they just weren't able to transition their solo lanes into an early victory to shut down Nasus before he comes online.
Well, let's agree on that. I think that the main issue was Ziggs pick. We know what kind of outstanding AD, at least we, the most royal amongst all of you, his lordship, Six-All Lord. I know how talented Burn the Heretic is as an ADC. He's a self-proclaimed Ezreal one-trick, so I'm very shocked that they didn't play more to their strengths. But I think next week we will see some adjustments. Brutaloid. Yes, we should have predicted their last pick. So yes, we'll fix that next week. Good. I'm glad you're going to be making that adaptation. We do have some awesome clips from this match, and we'll hop into those right now. We do have an awesome play out of 9 Lives, even though I think Pickman was the cause of their loss. Here's an awesome play. It shows this team has some great coordination, good mobility from Relexus, and knowledge of the rest of the team when to follow up.
Back. Relexus should not be able to interfere with him a lot. Oh, he jukes rather than jives. Maybe a little bit of your dashes. Blast cones right in, and first blood for 9 Lives.
Great coordination from this team. It's good to see players really starting to click week 1. Speaking of clicking, Blitzkrieg played with a sub, and they still were able to get these big wins. Let's show a play in the bot lane where J-Dog staves off death off the solid play from their sub, Queen Elizabeth.
With text, a little bit of an assist. Ooh, J-Dog gets cut off, dashes forward, does have the black shield on as well. A lot of damage actually going on to J-Dog right now. Can he get out? Oh, there's a flash and a pull there. They do manage to kill him. And J-Dog is still alive. The healing. Oh my goodness.
It's always nice to see a support and an AD getting along. Even better when we know it's a sub. Now, that does take us into Game 2 of last week. That was Option 12 versus Team Phoenix. We're going to do things a little different this time. We're going to start with a clip.
Ooh, I'm excited to see this clip.
That is how close that matchup was for them playing the game, seeing that Phoenix was just that far from a victory. Able to come back after a throw, and then coming back, and then a throw, and then coming back, and then an incredible base race. That's going to be a storied game one we talk about for a while. But you don't need to hear it from me. We can hear it from one of the players that was there. Tell me about that week one matchup for you guys. Odin.
Well, yeah. So that first game, we had that big advantage early, and then we didn't take our due diligence here to properly sub our split pushes, and we were finding ourselves getting picked into a point where now we're trying to fight into probably a better 5v5 team comp, and we just started losing. They were having a great job peeling me on Yo and diving their back line. I was just getting down later to CC to the point where we could no longer 5v5, so it came down to that Hail Mary base race. We just noticed we had supers in their base. I'm not sure who exactly called it, but someone called the TP, and I went. And then yeah, I came down to that one auto. I had huge in my ear telling me, "Oh, game's over, we lost." And all of a sudden, the victory screen flashes. As I'm autoing that base, I'm thinking, "Oh, it's over. We don't have a chance." I thought they ended a long time ago since it was me versus that Caitlyn, and they're 4 up versus just me running at that base. It was definitely a real heart pounder, and that adrenaline was going, and it was a pretty big crash point in that next game. That was a long game to slug through.
It was, and folks, I've turned Odin up 3 times across 2 systems. If I'm not sure what to do next, we'll have to research if there are any other issues. But he's up all the way in Discord, and the volume's turned all the way up in OBS. So my thoughts after watching your guys' week 1 matchup. I feel like the first game was very indicative of how strong both teams are. Both teams were able to capitalize off of mistakes made by the other team and almost completely win the game back multiple times. So we know that both these teams, just off that game 1 performance, are very strong. And there's a lot of strength there that we're going to be able to use the entire split. But I think game 2. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Odin. How can you have solid mental going into that game 2, knowing that if either you're the winner, but you won off of a TP when you were just about to lose, or B, you're the team that had came back from the brink of loss so many times and were smacking on the Nexus when you see the defeat screen. So I don't know if game 2 is very indicative of the play available for either team. So I'm excited to see how they perform in their matchups next week. Go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah, it was definitely going hard in that game too. I know I was looking a little burnt out, so I decided, you know what, let's pick the Ziggs pick and go into autopilot for this game, and let's pick something that's a little more brain dead, and that can still be useful to the team. I think everyone in that game was really kind of feeling that stress from the first one wasn't playing to their top level. I just know we just felt like, oh yeah, no, we should have closed that game 1 out earlier, and then we knew we could take that into game 2. We just had to clean up the small mistakes that were getting us picked, and then properly set up our pushes. So we're just trying to focus on that and trying to maybe slow down the pace just a tad here, just so we could catch our breaths and stuff, because we were a little burnt out.
I'd be so frazzled. I don't think I would have been able to play any game very well at that point. Well, that does take us into Game 3, Northern Storm versus White Wolf. This was a game that I think very few were excited for, but those that stayed around to watch were thoroughly surprised. It was a very strong game from both teams, but White Wolf Gaming had incredible micro play that I feel like everyone was not expecting out of them. So when people talked about White Wolf, including the players that have said they voted in the community polls, they didn't feel like they were a first-place team. I can't speak for the rest of the split, but they showed micro skill that, I mean, most of the time in these tournaments, from my experience, players that lack a certain amount of micro skill are usually ones that you dedicate time to trying to pick up macro, group play, CC chains, stuff like that. But there's not really a need. I feel like their macro is just fine. I feel like they played very well in their small game. I've got 2 clips I want to show. Oh, wait. folks, I got ahead of myself. I do have a clip from Phoenix I want to show that fed some people and got Alpha fed. Alpha, I'm very sorry we skipped this. We're going back right now.
Watch Phoenix highlight.
Destroyed by Alpha.
Let's just forget their highlights from that game.
And he's gonna go down too through the shield though. Can Prowler clean up this fight on the backside? He is rooted, but he's dealing out so much damage. No one is on to this Varus. It's a triple kill for Alpha. I think that's a quadra. Could it be a penta? Could we get it? Oh my goodness, Alpha in week 1.
Pentakill picked up by the ADC for Phoenix, and I think that just shows individual skill so strong with Alpha. He's mainly a support and a mid laner, but a lot of those skills have transferred over just fine into the bot lane. But with White Wolf, I want to play 2 short clips for you. One, we will see strong individual play. That was a flash out of Wishbone, reading the placement of her lane opponent and picking up first blood in game 1. Then in later that game, Pointy playing Gnar into Zami Fun's Fiora, able to pick up the win, able to pick up a kill there, just reading her mechanics. So solid play out of White Wolf. I don't feel like the community voted correctly, and I feel like there's a lot of success this team can garner. I'm excited to see them grow and only improve. Now that being said, there was some. I showed Pointy's clip. I meant to show a different one. Sorry, let me go back.
The whole gang is here.
There we go.
Oh,
Sorry, got myself a little confused there. So Pointy picked up that kill for Northern Storm. Sorry, I double attached the clip on 2 separate transitions. My bad. It was incredible play from both teams. White Wolf did pick up the 2-0. I don't feel like our rankings were really indicative of their strengths. Odin, what were your thoughts of that set?
Yeah, so yeah, I think these sets were kind of well back and forth. I do appreciate last podcast I did call White Wolf for being completely bot lane oriented, and then we saw Zami pull Fiora, so I thought that was a nice little power move. Like, hey, we can actually play a carry through the top side as well. I do think, especially game 2, I really think it was Nyline's comp that really let them down. It got to the point where, between not getting any of the Drakes, they just had no way to consistent way to deal with that front line, and then they were just getting bursted faster than their ADs could deal damage. So that eventually, as that game went longer and longer, they just had no way to really answer. And then I'm gonna call Pointy here a little bit. He had great games, but I just feel like he didn't do a great job at taking his lead top lane and transitioning it, and that's what really hurt their team. But good on White Wolf for really stepping up this week. I was glad to see them pull out a 2-0. Kind of put all the haters, maybe all the haters quiet for at least this first week, and hopefully they can keep it going in a week. Well, I shouldn't say that. We play them. Hopefully that was the only week they pop off, and they can do better some other weeks, but not this coming week.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about this upcoming set of games, these 3 sets. So, in week 2, let me put the schedule back up for you fine folks. In week 2, we have set 1. Set 1 is Blitzkrieg versus Northern Storm. I personally am rating Blitzkrieg to go 2-0. I feel like Northern Storm have more than enough opportunity to beat Blitzkrieg. I feel like there's strong enough play in these lanes. But sorry, Ravain's commentary got me. I think there's more than enough strength in Northern Storm for them to perform well, but Blitzkrieg is it's their game to lose, just based off of week 1 play. So we'll see how that goes from my perspective. What are your thoughts, Odin?
Yeah, I totally agree. I got Blitzkrieg going 2-0. Watching that week 1, I think what really set them apart is just that is their rotations. I think that's what really let them, especially game 2 where they were losing their soul lanes, prevented them from the game snowballing out of control. Is they were out rotating and they were turning picks into should be disastrous. You know, taking where they would lose objectives, and all of a sudden with the Galley coming in, they were able to turn it into a positive trade where they were picking up 2-3 kills on the back ends of a pick play. And I think their macro rotations is what's going to keep getting them those 2-0 weekends. I think it's going to continue into this week as well.
Well, we agree. Chat, let us know your thoughts in chat, and we'll discuss that next week. Week 2, game 2, set 2 is White Wolf Gaming versus Option 12. I'm going White Wolf Gaming 2-0. I feel like they showed more than enough competency, and they didn't have the sloppy game 1 that Option 12 had week 1. So with that level of consistency, there's no reason for us to say anything other than an option 12 0-2 and a White Wolf 2-0.
I, as someone who is invested in this game, I am going to disagree. I'm giving us that 2-0 because, yes, I am a biased person on this podcast. I'm going Option 12 all the way. Yeah, game 1 we showed we can get those leads. Yeah, we fumbled the ball a little bit here, but we showed in game 2 that, hey, if we just clean up our simple mistakes, we can run the game over and have a pretty clean victory, which I think we did, for the most part, we did have against Phoenix in that second game. And if we can keep that upward trend of our gameplay, I don't think White Wolf will be able to handle it.
Well, we'll see. This is a probably my match of the night, just because of the risks that both teams could face. These could be playoff deciding games just here in week 2. So I hope everyone's excited for set 2. In terms of set 3, we have another fun match. It's Non-Lives versus Team Phoenix. Now these are 2 of the 3 teams that are at 0-2 right now. And this is where the stratification is guaranteed to happen, because we're going to see one of these teams show that they're still in this fighting, and the other will have to try and potentially rally for another week, with a 1-1 being potentially a worst case scenario for both. So I'm giving this 2-0 to Non-Lives. I feel like Rolexus and Chaosix are 2 solid solo laners who performed well week 1, and after some time for this team to stew and get some practice in, I'm going to keep my faith, and I'm going to hold out for that 2-0 in favor of Non-Lives.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of go for the cop-out answer, and I think it's going to be that 1-1 split series. After playing Phoenix, I know they know how to play from behind, so even if the solo lanes of Non-Lives do get ahead, they know how to play that kind of style where it's, look for those picks. And what impressed me most about Phoenix is layering their CC on carries. I know going into that, the instant you get hit by one thing, everything gets dogpiled on you, and if you're ahead, it doesn't really matter because all of a sudden you just can't move for 10 seconds. So as long as Phoenix can keep that early game relatively in an even state, I think they're going to be tough to close out on, and they could have another long game. I think they're going to have at least one 50-minute game again like this, but I think they'll actually close it out this time. I'm going to go for that 1-1. Yeah, it all just depends on how that. I think the first 5 minutes is going to really dictate that pace, but I do think that Phoenix can at least take one game off of Non-Lives.
I know no matter what, it will be an action-packed set 3. Again, the schedule starts at 5:30 Central Standard Time. It is Blitzkrieg versus Northern Storm, White Wolf versus Option 12, and then Non-Lives versus Phoenix. The games happen in order. So if a set ends quickly, the next set will begin immediately thereafter. We are going to try and be more timely this upcoming week with our time between games. If one game runs over, I'm sorry for anybody that didn't get much sleep that night. We just want to give everybody the right amount of attention. So, as we wrap up this podcast, just a few things that we have in terms of cleaning up. One reminder, August 3rd, Jarvan only 1v1 tournament featuring Kinos. That's going to be a fun time. You earn that community by donating to the Team Feed charity. On August the 7th, we will have our Among Us alcohol suggested charity stream. We'll be issuing sign-ups for that week. We hope that you'll join us as long as you're over 21. Alcohol is encouraged. I know I'll be there. This probably be the only time I'll ever be inebriated on stream, and I hope in a future career or political run it doesn't ruin me. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a good time regardless. So, if you're watching this, you're watching it on Twitch. We really appreciate those that follow us. If you get free shipping on all of your houseware or any goods you buy from Amazon, you have Twitch Prime. We would appreciate your Twitch Prime sub. You can hit that right below if you're on desktop. Please give us that Twitch Prime sub. Keeps the lights on, and we really appreciate it. Odin, do you have anything in your mind for wrapping up this podcast?
Yeah, I just want to promote the community for the donations here. Donating to the Feed America, all to get this Jarvan 1v1, all just to spite Kenos. I applaud all of you. I love that penniness, just to make him have to cast 1v1 Jarvan games. Thank you for this.
Well, folks, again, thank you so much for listening. I have been your digital lord and savior, Sigtal Lord, with GMA Gaming. I want to thank you for listening. I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you on the Rift. Bye-bye.